So let's talk about one of the key elements for all database marketers, and that is the concept of name trapping. Your database is an asset. Every name that you trap is worth something to you and probably to someone else. So anytime someone visits your store, visits your website, visits your social media platforms, it is important that we try to trap their name and contact information. Of course, names are just the beginning. You really want individual level purchase level data at some point in time. But it's important to trap people's names when you have the opportunity. So I want you to think about this for just a second. Who's trapped your name recently? I want you to think about this for a second. In the last 3 or 4 days, how many times have you been up online, and who is it that has trapped your contact information? Okay, some of the ways that I might trap names from a leads perspective, that is potential customers, not current customers, but potential customers. This was the U.S. Open golf weekend that just went by, and a number of the golf stores had contests. And in fact, one of the contests was from Callaway, and Callaway had this deal where if you could select any of the Callaway pros, that is, any of the pros that played Callaway golf clubs, and you could pick the one that you thought might win the U.S. Open golf tournament. And if they did, they would give you a brand new Callaway driver. And so that was the contest. And of course, to be entered into the contest, you had to provide a litany of information. It was a contest. The purpose of the contest wasn't to get you so much interested in Callaway, but the purpose of the contest was for Callaway to get a list of golfers that were interested enough in Callaway to enter the contest, so that they could use that list of customers in the future to try to identify people who might become Callaway Golf Club users. So contest, a giveaway. You might purchase or really rent a list to gather leads. You might have people fill out interest cards. You might go to some sort of public records, and I'm going to tell you a little story later on about Ryan's song about a former student of mine who used public records to generate quite a substantial income. Email addresses, where you trap an email address to gain access to a website or other online content, a white paper that you might have, etc. Right? We do this all the time. We provide an email. Now, lots of times it's a secondary email account, but the truth is they have then trapped an email address for you. Another way might be to ask you to sign up for a newsletter, whether virtual newsletter or a hard copy newsletter, where they gather contact information about you. It might be social media, YouTube visitors. It might, you might subscribe or follow a particular brand or YouTube video provider. And you might also get it from behavioral targeting on Google. And of course, we all know how behavioral targeting works. One of the people who I am an advisor for is the Mob Museum downtown. And the Mob Museum does a lot of behavioral targeting, where what they do is they use Google to identify people who have visited their competitors' websites. And as they visit their competitors' websites, they then the Mob Museum then turns around and serves them up ads for the Mob Museum. Of course, that is behavioral targeting. The argument is you wouldn't be looking at our competitors' websites unless you were planning on traveling to Las Vegas and and doing some sort of attraction visitation. So they use behavioral targeting to identify potential customers coming to Las Vegas. For your own customers, you might get billing or order forms, or work orders, or shipping label information, or website, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube visitors. Or you might get names from credit card purchases. You might get that by people redeeming coupons and rebates and having to, in some fashion or form, provide you with information when they do that. It could be from a loyalty, frequency, or rewards programs, or club programs. It could be some sort of preferred customer programs. It could be mailing list sign-ups, or it could be an email list sign-up, or it could be something of ours that you have subscribed to. So these are all ways that I might try to trap information on my current customers when I don't ordinarily have the ability to do so. So think about creative ways to gather customers' names. Once again, go back to the concept that we started with. Who's trapped your name recently? Why do you think they've trapped it? And how do you think they're going to use it? From this day forward, every time someone asks you to provide an email address, a phone number, an address, or even just your name, I want you to be aware that they are trapping your name because they believe that having information about you is worth something to that organization and someone else who they might be able to rent or sell that information to.